It's been more than a year since St. Louis police officer David Lee was killed in the line of duty. Today, Ramon Chavez-Rodriguez confessed in court he was drunk and high when he got behind the wheel and struck Officer Lee. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, was in the courtroom this morning and brings us the story.
And Ann, this was no plea deal where defense attorneys might strike some lenient sentence with the prosecutors. Rather, prosecutors were intent they were not going to let this man off easy. This was a straight-on confession. Ramon Chavez-Rodriguez raised his right hand as far as those handcuffs would allow and confessed to the court what prosecutors were already prepared to prove, that alcohol, cocaine, ketamine, and meth were coursing through his veins when he punched the gas, was speeding, and crashed into a police officer. St. Louis police officers filled the courtroom, some in uniform, others in silence, as prosecutors described the toxic mix that fueled the crash.
The toxicology tests performed by the Missouri State Highway Patrol showed the defendant had alcohol, ketamine, cocaine, and methamphetamine in his system at the time of the crash.
The impact crushed Officer David Lee as he worked along I-70 last September. Prosecutors read from the coroner's report. Fractures across his body. Injuries so severe, doctors attempted an emergency amputation that failed.
Did you do what he said you did? Yes.
In the back row, Police Chief Robert Tracy watched quietly, surrounded by members of Lee's former traffic division who worked the accident reconstruction scene that very night. After court, the chief said police got some sense of closure, knowing this case would not have to go to trial.
It really starts to get into the nitty-gritty. You start to see some things that a good defense attorney is going to have to do to protect their client, and sometimes it's going to open up some wounds and actually drag the police officers and the family through something that, and relive a lot of those things. Right now we can get closure.
It was the first public relief police felt since the crash, even as deeper questions emerge about why the suspect was ever free to drive at all. Court records show Chavez-Rodriguez was in the U.S. illegally, already on probation for a 2020 domestic assault case, ordered not to drink or drive. That probation, now revoked, replaced with a 7-year prison sentence.
I would worry about if he got deported. Certainly he wouldn't be held accountable to the loss of life of David Lee. And I want to see him held accountable here, and then we can deport him, whatever rules that they want to make afterwards are their decisions. But let's make sure he's held accountable here for his actions and the loss of life of David Lee.
That sentencing hearing expected within 8 weeks, where police and prosecutors will ask the courts to throw the book at him. The full 15-year sentence is what they are recommending. We also know that through a translator, Chavez-Rodriguez told the judge he understands his confession today will complicate his immigration status, though at this hour, a spokesperson with ICE could not explain why that previous conviction didn't trigger deportation proceedings. Live downtown, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.